Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing this look on my face that I have right now, and I'm using the new 39A from Morphe. I love this palette, but I'm not going to be getting into it quite yet so that you guys will watch this video. So if you want to see how I got this look, stay tuned. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you will see future videos from me. And if you're an oldie but a goodie like this video, comment more suggestions on what I should do in the comments below, and see you guys in the next video. Hi guys! To start today's look, I'm going to be using primer, and I'm using the Double Tenseur Instant and Long Term Primer from SISLEY. So I'm putting that on my face. This primer, after it sets for a few minutes, it does get very sticky and tacky, so that's what I love about this primer. For foundation today, I'm using the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte foundation from Too Faced, and I use the color Porcelain. So I'm going to take 2 to 3 pumps on the back of my hand, and I'm using a flat foundation brush and just put it on my face. So I'm not going to be blending this in yet. This is just to put it on the face. Now that it's put all over my face, I'm using my EcoTools blender and blend this in. Making sure I blend this down the neck also. I'm going to take a little bit more on my nose and any other desired spots where I want a little bit more coverage. For concealer today, I'm going to be using Tarte Shape Tape in Light Sand, doing 2 stripes under my eyes, 2 on the forehead, 1 down the center of the nose, and a few on my chin. Using the same sponge to blend that in. So this sponge is a pretty good dupe for the Beauty Blender. The Beauty Blenders, in my perspective, I don't like. I do like them. I just don't like them for blending things in because they're so small and they don't have like a flat side. That's my favorite part about these sponges. So that's why I always use the green one from EcoTools. To set my concealer and all the other spots, I'm using my Mercier translucent powder, and for this I'm using a damp beauty blender. So I'm bouncing in under my eyes to set the concealer on my eyelids also. The forehead. For powder, I usually like to use the Mercier one or the Cover FX one. That one is my all-time favorite, but I just am running low, so I need to get a new one. Also really like to bake my nose. That is the spot where I get the oiliest the fastest. And then also on the chin. So that is where I set my concealer, and I'll be back in a few seconds after I let this bake. Okay, so it's been a few minutes since I've let this all bake, and now I'm going in to set the rest of my face. I'm using my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Compact in the shade 2. As you can see, I really like this. I'm going to be applying that with a Sephora 61 brush. So I'm just going to pat this in everywhere. Okay, next is going to be bronzer. I'm using the Hourglass. I'm going to be using this shade, which is the Ambient Lighting Bronzer and Luminous Bronze Light, with a Real Techniques brush. So I'm just going to be lightly bronzing. I do like circular motions And then flip my brush on like the flat side and just bronze my forehead. And this bronzer is very natural, that's why I like it. And then I'm going to take just a little bit down the bridge of the nose. And then jaw, my neck. Okay, for contour, I'm going to be using this brand new palette from NARS. I love it. It's so pretty. So this is it's called the Bord de Plague Highlighting and Bronzing Palette. So I'm going to be using this one right here. Oops, I jabbed it with my nail. I think it is Laguna or Casino, one of these two. And I'm going to be using it on a G40. So I'm taking just a little bit of that one. Pretty much doing these same things, but just a little bit more focus so it can chisel it out. And then with this, I just put it right under my double chin because no one likes that. And for blush, I'm going to be using the Tarte Blush Bazaar Amazonian Clay Blush Palette. I think this one is a part of their holiday collection. It has like this pretty packaging on the front. This palette has 8 blushes and then 2 highlighters. So for my blush, I'm going to be using probably Angelic, which is this one. So these blushes are really good. Oh, I'm using it with an E4. And these blushes are really good because they last forever. They're very pigmented. I think they're one of the best blushes on the market, just to be honest. So I'm just going to apply that on my cheekbones and then just a little bit on the forehead. Next, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to be using the smaller Eco Tools sponge, but this one is not dampened, so this one is dry. And I'll be taking it with the Chanel Pore Universal Compact Powder and Natural Translucent 2. So it looks like this. Honestly, there's nothing to it, but it really chisels out my contour. So that's it. See how much cleaner and like slimmer I look? It makes my face look. So I use it with the powder again. That's it. And it works so good. Get a really chiseled line. And if you go too high or you don't want as a sharp of line, you could take your contour brush with no additional product and just kind of blend the two lines so it's not like cut if you don't want it so cut. So next is going to be highlight, and first I'm going to be using the MAC Soft and Gentle with this Up and Up brush. Just going to apply that to the tops of the cheekbones. This just gives the next product I have something to kind of stick to. So just a little light contour or highlight, and then for the actual highlight I'm going to be using the Starlit powder in the shade 13. This little thing from Makeup Forever. And these are so blinding. So what I do is I make sure I have it close. So usually I just tap it and then tap the top a few times to really get the excess out. And then whatever is left in the cap, I just take my brush, tap it off, and then so good. So blinding. You have to make sure, because it's a loose pigment, it's very dusty and glittery, so you have to make sure you set your face. And to set my face, I'm using the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray. It says new, but all of their products I feel like say new. So I'm going to be spraying this on my face. And I'm going to let that sit. And by setting my face, it really melts all of my powder products together, and the highlight will become even more blinding. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the eyes, and I have two palettes I'm going to be working with today. I have the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. This palette has a lot of love from me. I love this palette. It is a go-to. And then, for the exciting part, I have the new Morphe 39A, and it doesn't even fit in my screen because it's so big. I have the shade names, which is so cool. I actually have shade names now, and then this is what the palette looks like. So the first shade I'm going to be using is Peach Meringue from the Peach palette, which is this white shade. I'm using that with just a fluffy brush to set down the primer and highlight my brow bone. So next I'm going to be jumping over to the Morphe palette. I'm going to be using this shade right here, which is called Bear. So this is the lightest transition shade in the Big Pan row. I'm using that with my NYX crease brush. And this is the first time I have been touching this palette, but I know that Morphe shadows are awesome. Like, awesome. I love them. So this crease shade is not giving me any trouble at all. It is blending perfectly. Perfect transition shade. So the next color I'm going into is this color right here. And it is called Thunder. I think Thunder. So with the same brush, I'm basically doing the same thing, just to deepen up the crease. And my windows are open, so if you see this kind of shadow thing right there, that's why I live in Florida. So perks of having your blinds open and being too lazy to shut them. So we're just going to lean back and hopefully it won't come near us. Again, the shade is giving me no trouble at all. They look seamless, blending seamlessly, everything. For a little bit of a deeper color, I'm going to be going into this shade right here, which is called Vibrant. So this one did have a little bit of kickback in the pan, but nothing I can blow off. Its kickback doesn't really bother me. So I'm going to be putting this on the outer V to really warm the crease up, and then slowly work it into the crease. Okay, so this shade is very pigmented, so be careful. I might have a little bit of like residue from another color on this brush. It's a little dark, so I think that's what it is, but it still looks good. I'm going to be going back in with my NYX brush in that first shade we used, called Bear, and I'm going to just blend it out.
All these bitches out here trying to be a playmate, but I want to be Hugh Hefner. I want some hands on this room. I take 10% like I rep her. No faking my tits, but don't check hers. Your bitch give me brain like her neck hurts. Now you drowning in them Zannies. Got my name all in your mouth. Yeah, your tweet just gave me clout.
Okay, so the next shade I'm going to be using is Peach Tarte from the Peach palette. I'll be using that on this little Morphe brush. So I'm just going to place it down and then kind of feather it out so that they get a little bit smoky, but I like it. Okay, the last crease shade I'm going to be using is this purple shade in the corner called Forever. And I'm going to be using that on the same brush I just used. So I'm just going to place this down with this brush and then blend it out with the next one. So I'm not going to be doing a lid shade, but I am going to be highlighting my inner corner. I'm going to be taking that same NARS palette and I'm going to be using a mixture of these two shades up here. I don't know what they're called, I'm sorry, because this on the back, it's like flipped. So I'm reading it like this. So if I was reading it like this, it is Rivage and, okay, I'm not even going to try. So I'm taking those two shades on this little Real Techniques brush, mixing them, putting them in my inner corner. For the lower lash line, I'm going to be using Peach Tart and just putting that there. Really just on the outer third. That's it. Okay, so now that the eyes are done, me moving on to eyeliner. I'm going to be using the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. Be doing just a line on the top. Okay, so eyeliner is done. I'm going to be moving on to eyelashes. I'm going to curl them and then I'm going to be using the Benefit Roller Lash. Okay, so my eyelashes are done. And for lips, I'm going to be using this MARC JACOBS gloss in the shade Love Buzz. Okay, so this is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned.